KCAA Loma Linda and 106.5 FM K293CF Moreno Valley.
This is Steve Matley. Join me every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations radio talk show. I spent decades as a professional construction manager, business owner, real estate developer, and a college educator, and I enjoy learning new things from other people. We talk a lot about real estate, business, and finance, but we cover a diverse range of other topics as well. Some of the topics we've discussed in the past few months include real estate investing, leadership, higher education, ADUs, marketing using technology, multifamily rental properties, business strategy, entrepreneurship. You never know who may show up or what they may talk about, so join us right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio.
Hey guys, welcome to the Journey to Business and Entrepreneurship. My name is Brianna Prince, and I am your host. Our primary focus of this show is to learn more about businesses and entrepreneurs, and how we can help you on your journey through the I3 Social Club, which is an investment club located here in Riverside, California. So today I have my guest, Kathy Scalzo. We're just going to be talking a little bit more about investing and our journeys with investing. Hi, Kathy. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Brianna?
I'm great.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So first off, I know we were talking about a little bit before here about a little bit about the investing that we've done ourselves. And I kind of wanted to go a little bit of a deeper dive into that. So I know for me, investing has been an interesting journey. I think that there's just so much information out there, and there's a lot of good information, and there's also information where people are pretending to do more than what they actually are. And so it's really hard to know which route to actually take. Like for example, like who do you listen to? And really taking that into consideration. Because what I was telling you before is for me, I am very, I feel like I'm on a different side than most people. Most people are just afraid to invest. Whereas me, for whatever reason, I'm okay with investing. The problem is I just don't have the financial education, or I haven't had in the past, had the financial education I needed in order to invest properly. So it's definitely been interesting. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on all different, buying all different kinds of courses and stuff like that. But the great thing is, the one thing that I actually learned is that, through spending all that money, is that I don't learn just by watching videos. I really don't, and someone had told me once that you have to take the good in every situation and run with it. Like, there's no such thing as failure, it's a learning experience. I forgot who said that, but, I was like, that's an interesting perspective to actually look at it. So, that was really interesting to me. And I've kind of, after I heard that perspective, I was like, you know what, that's so true. And so that's when I actually started looking into, what did I learn from spending all that money or wasting all that money? Because, I think about it now, and the education that I have accumulated, I'm like, man, with that kind of money, I could do so much more with it. But what about you? How has your investment journey been?
Well, I've been a scaredy cat, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, I've done all kinds of different things. I actually took a class in stock investing a few years ago.
Okay.
And that was a very big investment, and it's very time consuming. It could have worked out very well for me if I had wanted to take the time to actually do that, but
that's interesting. Was it a class at a community college, or were you going to school at the time, or?
It was based off of one of those free workshops.
Oh.
Okay, come here for free for 3 days,
and then
now,
charge you $30,000 or something.
Yeah.
Oh, girl, that's what I'm talking about. I've been suckered a couple times.
Yeah. So now, I was playing with the options, and then when COVID hit, and I got totally scared of the market. No, I don't want to have anything to do with the stock market anymore. So
okay.
But with real estate investing, I used to think that all it was just buying a house and renting it out, and then taking advantage of the appreciation. But ever since I learned about the infinite banking concept and just started doing more research about how I can make my money work in multiple places at the same time,
right.
I am learning about all these crazy creative strategies, and it's just so much fun. But I've just been immersing myself in different real estate groups, because you want to be around the people, kind of to absorb that energy, not necessarily, pay thousands of dollars to take a class, but just be around other people that have experience, that, just chit chat and learn what they're doing, what they've done, learn
Right.
from their mistakes.
Right. Yeah. I think that's like the greatest thing that we can learn. And that's why I like having conversations with people, because you can really learn a lot from people and not make the same darn mistakes. Like, there's no
Yeah.
sense in me going out and trying all these different things, trying it, to see if it works or not. No, find someone who's actually doing it. But, even speaking about real estate investing, one thing that I've learned with learning about real estate, it is so huge. It's such a, there's so many different routes you can go down. And so this was me. I, I went through a point where I was like, okay, so at first I was like, okay, I'm going to start off as wholesaling. That seems like something that's doable. I can do that. And then I learned about notes. I'm like, oh, I'm going to invest in notes. I'm going to go that route. And then I learned about fix and flips. I actually learned about fix and flips, I think probably first. So that was my original, actually the original route that I was going to take. But then I learned about mobile homes, and I'm like, oh gosh, that's even better. Literally, oh my gosh. I cannot tell you how many I've kind of gone through where I was like, I'm going to go this route or that route, stuff like that. And it was a mess. Yeah. It's crazy. So it's so hard to narrow down exactly where to start, pinpoint exactly where to start, and go from there.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing, is trying to figure out where to start, just learning as much as I can.
Yeah.
I think I've come to the conclusion right now that I want to stick with notes.
Okay.
For now,
cool.
so I don't want to own the actual property. I don't ever
I've heard horror
want to be,
stories.
A landlord and deal with all that stuff. So,
yeah.
I
But
think,
see, that's what I've learned so much. That's what I said too. But then I had someone who's like, all you need is a good property manager, someone who's going to actually manage everything for you. That way you don't have to. So there's so many different ways to go about doing so many different things within real estate. That's for sure. And that's what I'm excited about when it comes to the I3 Social Club, because, number one, it's not just real estate investing that we're focusing on. We're focusing on all things investing, so we'll see where everything turns out to, but, bringing in professionals who are professionals in their industry and in their fields to come and speak with us on investing purposes. We're going to be having a lot of different workshops. I know we have one gentleman who is going to be coming talking about residential and commercial loans. We'll have someone talking about taxes, someone talking about investing outside of the country, which I didn't even know is something that can be done. I mean, there's just so many different workshops that we're going to have this year, and I'm super excited to see how it goes, because I think even with our biggest goal, I think I mentioned to you a little bit about it, with getting all of our members to get to a point where they accumulate $100,000 in investments within the next three years. That's huge. I mean, because you have someone, you have actual guidance, and that's what the club brings, is that guidance that so many of us just haven't had. Because I can tell you, if this club existed and I knew about it, I wouldn't have lost so much money. I mean, it would have been great. It really would have, it's one of those things, like hindsight's 2020, right? Always. I love that, because it's so true. Like, you can always go through something and then look back and wish you would have done something differently. And so when I look at that, when I think about how much money I've lost from trying to invest, because again, if I have the money, I'm going to spend, I'm going to spend it for investment purposes, just because I know that I'll get a return. Well, if done properly, but I lacked the financial education, and I just didn't realize that. And so I've been reading a lot of books. So the books that I have really been enjoying the most is Robert Kiyosaki's books. He's amazing, man.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that's what started it all for me.
You know what? Yes.
Changed my life.
I fell in love with that book first, but then I read Cash Flow Quadrant, and that one was even better. And then I read What the Rich Teach Their Kids, and I'm like, this is great too. You can't lose with this guy. I love him. Honestly, I've fallen in love with this guy at this point. I mean, really, I've learned so much just from reading his books, and yeah, it's fantastic.
Another book that I love is The And Asset by Caleb Gilliams.
Oh, I gotta write that down.
Yeah.
The And Asset?
Yep. It talks about having a foundation for your money and then leveraging that foundation to make your investments with, so the money works in two places at the same time.
So what does that mean exactly, to have a foundation for your money?
Like, instead of saving your money in the bank and then making your investments, you have a more solid foundation where you're going to grow your money, and you're going to leverage that money to make your investments with. So you actually are still earning compounding growth on that money at the same time.
So it's the same thing as like the infinite banking concept.
It
right?
is, yeah.
Okay, that's cool. You want to talk a little bit more about that?
Well,
And
sure.
see how, because okay, so for example, as an investor, you were saying that there's a lot of benefits that it provides and stuff like that. So what are those benefits exactly? What is it that a real estate investor or any kind of investor can use to actually leverage the infinite banking?
Yeah, well, it's just a process a place to store your capital is what it is. Instead of just storing it in the bank and then when you make your investment, you're just earning in your investment. You're going to utilize a specially designed whole life insurance policy as the warehouse for your wealth.
Okay.
So then you use other people's money for your investments, basically. You borrow from the insurance company's pool of money with your cash value in the policy as collateral. So your cash value is growing as if you never touched it, even though your money is also growing outside the policy in the investments. So, and then of course you have the nice death benefit to protect your family, which is the main reason for insurance. But with this type of insurance, it's more about using it while you're still alive. You don't have to wait to die. You don't have to get sick to use it.
Right.
You're actually insuring your income.
Right.
So
of course, I understand this concept very
Yes.
well. I am also in the life insurance industry myself, but I feel like there's usually a huge misconception where people think that they should use that they get to borrow from the death benefit. And I assume you've probably heard people say that too, right? As far as thinking like if they have a $500,000 death benefit, they'll be able to withdraw from the death benefit.
yeah,
so
like
you've
the whole
heard that too.
$500,000.
Thank you.
Like, no, it doesn't work
I'm
like that.
Okay, I don't know who told you that, but if you
Yeah.
heard that, they misrepresented or misspoke or,
Yeah.
something like that.
I mean, you are borrowing from the death benefit. Basically, you're borrowing from your dead self. But the only amount that's available to you is the cash value,
right.
which is the death benefit minus any future premiums due.
Right.
So you don't have access to the
Right.
full death benefit, only a portion of the
Yeah.
premiums that you put in.
So I had a gentleman who actually had told me that he was talking to someone and he was going to be able to get like a $500,000 death benefit paying $500 a month. And he was 52 or something like that. And he said that, oh, after a month I could withdraw like $300,000. I'm like, oh, honey.
You've been misinformed.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I'm pointing out, with investing or all kinds of information. I think it's like the greatest thing is that we have access to everything at our fingertips, but it's also the thing that hurts us because with having access to all that information, there's so many people giving information and not all that information is actually true.
Yes.
So this is exactly why, and I'm sorry we're going off talking about life insurance, but this is why I tell people all the time, like, it is so important to actually read your policy yourself, and if you don't understand it, find someone that can help you understand it.
Yes.
Someone other than your agent. And the reason why I say that is because I had a lady, she wanted a final expense policy. It was a small $25,000 policy, and it was a client of mine actually. And a guy came to her and met with her and told her that she was going to be able to withdraw from the money and stuff like that. Like literally withdraw. So apparently the policy goes into effect, $25,000. I won't mention the insurance company, but it doesn't matter. The agent had told her, oh, you'll be able to get an income stream from the policy. First of all, it's a final expense policy. You're not getting no income stream from a final expense policy because the insurance company is only a final expense company. Well, okay, correction. They're not just a final expense company, but their whole life policies is only final expense. So that you're not getting an income stream from there. Number two, I ended up looking over her policy with her. But see, one thing that I've learned, because I've been in the life insurance industry for almost 10 years now, one thing that I've learned is that don't tell people what they have, because they're going to take your word. They're not going to take your word as valid. So I've had to learn to, instead of telling them, either showing them or calling the insurance company. So this was actually a client of mine already. So what I ended up doing, I was like, okay, so here's what we can do. We're going to call the insurance company together, and I'm just going to ask them questions because I want to make sure that you're getting what you're saying you're getting. She was like, okay, great. We called the insurance company. The insurance company confirmed what I already knew. No, there's no income stream off the policy. It's a $25,000 whole life policy, and when you pass away, blah, 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 you it does build up cash value, but, for the first couple of years, you don't see anything,
Right.
And so she was very upset. And I understand, of course, but don't take the word of your agent, That's why I think, at least with me, when I help people get policies, I always want to make sure that I have them read their policy or look over. Of course, there's a lot of jargon in there, right? A lot of legal stuff and things like that. But I focus on the important aspects that they need to know. But I tell them, make sure you read through your policy in your own time. Because I can't, policies are, 50, 60 pages? Come on. I'll focus on the pages that actually matter, that pertain to you and what you need to know. But everything else, read it on your own time. All definitions are at the end of the policy anyway. So if you have questions, they're there.
Yeah. See, I made that mistake.
Did you?
Yeah. Before I was in the industry, I was a nurse for 20 years. And,
oh, wow. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So after that, I went to somebody who I met networking, who sold insurance. And I'm like, I have this, 403B I need to do something with, so I don't know what to do. And he talked about insurance. I'm like, I have no idea about anything, so just tell me what to do. So, he got me into not a product that wasn't the best for me. So I ended up having to cancel and take the
you took the hit, huh?
Take the hit, yeah. Because I kept thinking I'm going to just keep on putting more money in until I at least break even. But then I realized that break even time was never going to happen. I was just going to.
You have to say what it was. I'm so curious. I want to know what kind of policy it was.
Well, it was an IUL.
Of course it was.
That was not structured correctly for maximum contributions. So.
Yeah, see, and that's the huge thing. Oh, girl, we're talking about life insurance now. But again, you and I are both in the industry. Like, I mean, no, might as well.
We're so passionate about it. Like,
talking
about that. We're supposed to be talking about
it all day.
Well, it's not like a different subject than investing because it's the foundation to investing. Because you store your money there and then you use that for your.
But see, there's also this misconception where people think that, have this conception where, just use your life insurance as an investment tool. And it's like, no, this is an alternative, like it's a vehicle, like one avenue. It's not the end all be all. And that's where I've seen people kind of go wrong too.
Yeah.
It's not the end all be all.
Yeah. So many people would say, why in the world would I put my money in life insurance when I make so much more money in real estate investing? But it's not an either or conversation.
Right. It's just a vehicle, because think about it. Where else are you going to put that money? If you put it in the bank, you ain't getting nothing. I mean, seriously, you're really not getting anything. At least with the life insurance policy. I mean, I've seen so many different ways that people have been able to use it. Using it as leverage at the banks. To get their 3% interest or something like that. You get a guaranteed interest on the money too, which is also fantastic. Like, you're not going to see that in the bank.
Yeah, even when you're using the money, it's still growing guaranteed.
Exactly. Yeah, you could withdraw that money and still growing as if the money had never been taken out. It's great. Yes. Like, but what I was going to talk about was the IULs. The problem is, this.
They talk about the potential.
Yeah.
They illustrate. Oh my gosh.
A gentleman. Actually, I won't mention his name, but he sent me a video of this guy doing a TikTok video, and he illustrated at 8.5% or something. Why are you even looking at 8%?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my. Okay, see, and that's the problem. Like, too much information, and see, because with IULs, they're great because they have the flexibility. But I also think that that's the greatest flaw with IULs is the flexibility. And the problem is, most of that's the new hype thing to talk about is IULs. And the majority of people who are talking about IULs and who are selling them don't even know how to structure it.
Right.
And it's so funny because I love having those conversations with people because I think, I don't remember if I mentioned this to you, but with IULs, I studied them for about 5 years. Not like literally handed the book, you know what I mean? But I went through a 5-year period where I was just really looking into them and everything, just understanding how it works, that sort of thing, to see if it made sense for me to offer it to my clients. And eventually, like, when was that? Like 2019, I ended up coming to the conclusion that, no, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, because you have the cost of insurance, and if,
it's increasing every year.
Thank you. Girl. Okay. So, yes, that's really irritating to me, the fact that the cost of insurance gets so high. If you end up in your 70s, 80s, late 80s, if you die young, the IUL might perform very nicely for you. But the problem is, if you don't,
you're pretty much screwed.
Yeah, because,
Usually.
yeah.
I mean, there are times if somebody knows how to design it correctly, it can be a very good vehicle for retirement.
Yeah.
But when people start talking about how it can be used for infinite banking, it really is not the proper vehicle for infinite banking because it's more geared towards future growth, and there's no guarantees like whole life. So, you can't guarantee that you're going to have that money there when you have it loaned out.
Right.
So,
yeah,
it's very
that's
scary.
the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Gosh. Now, what is something that you feel like you wish you would have known as it pertains to investing? Because I assume, so how long ago was it when you first started to invest? Was it in just before COVID?
It was just after COVID, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
COVID changed my life for the better, actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because I never would have met this girl through online networking, because everything went online because we couldn't meet in person. So we're networking online, and I met somebody who told me about infinite banking, and she also told me about these alternative assets that are paying double-digit returns. So, and it's not, investing in the real estate, but it's still in the real estate world, being a lender.
So what is that?
It's it's a secured mezzanine loan. It's with a very large real estate company. So they basically use other people's money to expand their portfolio and do all their improvements.
Is it like a fund?
It's not a fund. You're just lending money to the company, and then they pay out the monthly interest and cash flow, and then a bonus.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Gotta look into that. What is it called again? Or did you mention?
It's a secured mezzanine loan.
Secure. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And then it's backed by the real estate, and then it also has a personal guarantee by the owner of the company, and it's also backed by a custodian who, would take over the properties if anything should happen and make sure that all the lenders get paid out.
Okay. Are they local, or is this a big company somewhere
They're based in
else?
Florida.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, you learn something new every day. This is why I like talking to people because, again, well, I know I mentioned this earlier to you before all of this, but, you don't know what you don't know. And that's such a true statement because that's one thing that has helped me to kind of keep my eye open and kind of realize, like, just always keep an open mind because you don't know what you don't know. And you will never know what you don't know if you don't keep that open mind.
Exactly.
So, because I've definitely ran into tons of people. Oh my gosh, so many people who are like, and even within my own family, where it's like they're so closed-minded and closed off. Oh, that's not going to work, or that's not a thing. That sort of thing, and it's like, well,
That's a scam.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's definitely and it's like,
Yeah.
Well, how can you say that? Have you ever done it? Well, no. Then why are you making that assumption? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I get the skepticism to a certain degree, of course. At the end of the day, like, I think a certain level of skepticism is actually kind of good. I wish, that probably would have helped me a little bit more rather than being so free. But, you live and you learn, and all you can do is take what you learn and continue to proceed and see where things go,
I think of it as kind of an investment in yourself.
Yeah,
like the money that you lost is an investment for your learning.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Like, because like I said, the biggest thing that I learned is that I just don't learn that way. I think, and that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, it may have cost me a little bit, but, it helps, like I'm a hands-on person. Like now I say that so confidently because literally I know I'm a hands-on person. Like don't have me watch it in a video. Like that's just not going to work. Like you can tell me how exactly step by step how to do something, but until I'm physically doing it, it's just like how-to videos on YouTube, Like for example, I was just talking to my sister because her turn signal was beeping real fast. I'm like, I think your turn signal is out because I think that's what happens when your turn signal is out. And I told her how once I had to change mine. My headlights I had to change. And I looked it up on YouTube first rather than taking it to the dealership because I'm like, if it's something that's super simple, I can do it. So I'm watching a video, but I'm doing it at the exact same time. So it's easy. Like I'm following step by step because I'll watch it and then I'll forget real quick. And then I'm like, okay, let me watch it again and go step by step to make sure I'm doing everything properly. And yeah, it worked. And that makes me so happy and proud to be able to have it work good, you know?
Like a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, so, it's pretty cool. Yeah, so I think, so for me, like, as long as it's a hands-on type thing, I can absolutely do it. Not saying that I can't do it otherwise, it's just that it may take a lot longer for me to learn. That's for sure. Yeah.
So which direction do you think you want to go with your investing?
Investing, oh gosh, I'm open to so many different things, but as far as real estate investing, I'm focusing on mobile homes. You know, the whole idea is to do the seller financing, which, you know, of course, with seller financing. So here's what I'm looking for. I'm gonna be working or partnering with or getting connections with different mobile homes, you know, and start there, like creating a route on a weekly to bi-weekly basis, just visiting different mobile homes, getting to know the managers, making sure that they get to know me, you know, because I mean, the more you see someone and you get familiar with them, the more you feel like you know them.
Yeah.
And so if they see an opportunity where there's a vehicle for, or not a vehicle, but a property that someone's going to get kicked out of, or, you know, someone's going to be moving soon, they'll probably let me know. So that's the kind of relationships I'm looking to build. And then hopefully if I can find a property where it's a little bit ran down, I can come in, buy the property, fix it up, and then do a seller financing. You know, basically meaning that I am the lender for the home, you know, so instead of the person buying the home through a bank, you know, they give me the down payment, the initial down payment, and then they pay me every single month. Because what I'm more interested when it comes to real estate is the passive income, you know, cash flow. That's what I want, is cash flow.
Me too.
Cash flow. You know, because you know, we were talking about Robert Kiyosaki, you know, and Rich Dad Poor Dad. You know, he talks about the rat race. I'm not out of the rat race yet, but I want to be, and I will be. You know, so I gotta, you know, put in the work to get that to happen.
Yeah. And it is all about the cash flow, because so many people think they just have to accumulate all this money for the future. Like they want to have $1 million in their 401k, as if that's even going to be enough. But it's not about the amount you accumulate. As long as you have that cash flow coming in month after month, you don't have to have that big pile of money.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about reading his books. Like he goes into a little bit of detail talking about some of the properties he's even done himself, which is great, you know, because it's like, oh, you know, that sounds simple. Obviously, things sound simpler, you know, listening to somebody else. But, you know, I was like, oh, that seems doable. Like, I can do that, you know, so and I really like that, too. So, yeah. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Kathy, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
Where can people find information on you?
Well, my digital business card is kathyscalzo.com.
Oh, okay.
It's KATHYSCAL, Z as in zebra, .com.
Awesome. And is there some last advice that you want to give to people about investing?
Well, invest in yourself. Pay yourself first.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Actually, I'm so glad you brought that up. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, we're all so open just paying everybody else, but then when we forget to pay ourselves. So if we just pay ourselves first, at least 10 to 25% of our income, then we're going to have that foundation we need, and we can start investing and make that money grow for us.
Nice. Yeah, I love that. But fantastic way to end today, too. So if you guys want more information about the i3 Social Club and getting some help with getting you on your journey to investing, feel free to contact us. You can go to meetup.com, and on Meetup, just type in i3 Social Club. You'll be able to find my information as well as other members' information, and then hopefully come and join us. We'll be having workshops and other things going on, so you can see our events there. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next time.
Real Men of Real Estate.
Men of Real Estate radio show here on KCAA.
Boats, mortgages can be purchased.
All of us want to live in thriving communities.
Basically, go to the radio station, KCAA radio.com.
You can find us on your dial at 102.3 FM, 1050 AM, as well as 106.5 FM.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing, and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Hey guys, welcome to the Journey to Business and Entrepreneurship. My name is Brianna Prince and I am your host. So our primary focus is to bring on entrepreneurs and business people to come and speak with us so that way we can learn more about them in business. And then also teach you guys how you can get into investing through the i3 Social Club and how we can actually benefit and help you on your journey. So today we have Kathy Scalzo that's going to be talking with us and talking to us a little bit more about her business and what she does. Hi, Kathy. How are you?
I'm good, Brianna. How are you?
Doing fantastic.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm glad to have you here. So tell us a little bit about who Kathy Scalzo is.
Well, I grew up in California in the San Fernando Valley.
Okay.
So I was a Valley girl. My sister was 17 years older than me, and she was a nurse, so I always wanted to follow in her footsteps.
That's awesome. So, okay.
Yeah, but then when it came down to it, I was too chicken to take the science courses because I didn't like science. So I ended up going for child development instead because I thought I wanted to be a preschool teacher. But then I realized, no, that's not what I want to do. I'm just going to go ahead and just tough it out and take those science courses. So I was a nurse.
That's awesome.
So I was a postpartum nurse for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I worked 12-hour night shifts taking care of the mommies and babies in the hospital.
Ooh, so you can really grieve or understand that work. That's
yeah. So 20 years, I was burned out.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very burned out, wanted something different. So, and I feel bad because, I was a single mom. Like, I got divorced when my son was only about a year old.
Okay.
So, they were with their dad when I worked, but then I pretty much took care of them all the rest of the time. So I just spent I can't imagine how many times I said, "Oh, sorry, I'm too tired, I'm too tired, I'm too tired," working night shift and just, getting a couple hours of sleep, taking care of them, It's like, I feel really guilty, but anyways, it's all good. I'm very grateful for the way the kids turned out, even though I feel bad.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So anyways, I was, so tired. And actually, I came across something on Facebook about this supplement that was going to give you energy and this and that and the other. I'm like, if it gives me energy, I'm in. I'm going to try it. So I need something because I'm walking around like a zombie all the time. So I tried it. Completely changed my life.
Really? The supplement?
Yes. Not only did it give me energy, it made my mood so much better. Like the trees were greener. Like,
tell me the secret.
I couldn't wipe the smile off of my face. It was absolutely amazing. So of course I'm screaming from the rooftops about how wonderful this is, and then I ended up being a promoter of that product.
Oh, really? How awesome.
Yeah. So then I got a taste of residual income.
Okay.
So,
nice.
And I'm like, you know what? Why am I punching a time clock? Like, and then every time I wanted to do something for business, like I had to work. It's like, this job is getting in my way of my business. Yeah. So I decided to leave. I just like, you know what? If I just leave and I don't have that thing to fall back on, then I have to just make it work.
Wow.
But when I was sharing it because I had to make money, it wasn't fun. And honestly, people make me crazy too because they complain about not having energy, this and that and the other. Well, I have something that can help you. No. I'm like, okay, then stop complaining. So I just didn't like promoting that product anymore. So then I thought, I always wanted to be a travel nurse. Like when my kids were small, like we had travel nurses at my hospital. I'm like, how cool would that be to just go to different locations just for 13 weeks at a time,
Yeah.
So I figured now's my opportunity. My kids are grown. I quit my job. I need something. So I decided to do travel nursing, which was really great for the first 13 weeks. I just made the mistake of extending. Because then it was kind of like being a regular employee, and which is great until you have to deal with all the politics,
The politics.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
But then when that assignment was over, there weren't any other assignments. There was nothing else available, so I had no choice. I had to make it work.
So when was this?
This was, how long ago was it? Like 3 years ago. Like
Okay.
before COVID.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I quit. I left like a few months before COVID is when I stopped.
Really?
So
Okay.
I like got out just in time.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, it might have, I don't know. Anyways, so I was dabbling in different things. Like I didn't want to do the supplements anymore. I was trying a few different network marketing companies, and I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up. I didn't know if I wanted to pursue the insurance. So I don't think I told you, because when I said I didn't want to do nursing anymore, a friend of mine was like, oh, well, you already help people, so you'd be really good at financial services. I'm like, I don't know anything about finances. I'm a nurse. You're crazy. But then she kept like kind of following up every couple months, like nudging me, and then she invited me to a meeting. And I don't have any interest in this, but like I want to support my friend. I'll just go to this meeting with her, you know.
Right.
But then I actually liked what I saw. It's like I
Nice.
see they talked about how much they help people with their money and their retirement, and everybody was so positive, and the CEO of the company was a nurse like me. So I'm like, oh, maybe I can do this. So I ended up joining that company.
Nice.
But then it wasn't quite what I expected, because immediately it was just recruit.
Oh, girl,
It's like I don't even know what it is that I'm really doing, so how do I even know that I want to recruit somebody to this, you know?
That is so big in our industry. Like, people are always wanting to, and it's okay, but it's not for everyone. And, you know, I also don't think that because there's a lot of people who don't focus on producing at all. They come in and they start recruiting, and it's like, you haven't done anything yourself, you know?
Exactly.
But, you know, I guess to each their own, you know?
Yeah.
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 That's
And
cool.
then I just really couldn't get passionate about the products. You know, you had to wait till retirement to enjoy.
Okay.
Like I had recently come into an inheritance from my grandmother. So I was trying to figure out a way to make that money work.
Right.
And so all they could say is, oh, well, just put it here and, you know, you can have all this money for retirement. It's like, but what if I want to use it now?
Yeah.
We can't help you. So unfortunately, I ended up squandering all that money away. But if I had known then what I know now.
Yeah, you know, it definitely makes a huge difference too. Just, you know, again, the education. The education is huge, you know, because when you have that desire to want more and then to invest because you know that's the route that you need to take, but you have no direction, it makes it so difficult to know, hey, this is what I should do or not. You know what I mean? Like, so I didn't realize that we related in that sense, but that's amazing because I think, like, you know, I just similar to you, like, I know that if I had the knowledge that I had now or that I have now, gosh, things would be totally different, you know? I'd be looking real nice in my cash flow with my cash flow. So yeah, I get that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm just so grateful to know now instead of never.
Right, exactly.
It could have been worse.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what are you doing now? What businesses are you involved in now?
Well, I help people take control of their money away from the banks and the government.
Ooh, that sounds interesting. Yeah. What exactly does that mean?
I feel like I'm kind of in the belief-changing business.
The belief-changing business. Okay. So what does that look like?
That looks like helping people realize that conventional wisdom isn't working. You know, so we're taught that we're just supposed to put our money in the bank.
Yeah.
And then let the bank take our money and loan our money out while they make all the money and give us this measly, like maybe 0.005%. And then now actually, you know, rates are getting better now. But then sometimes they charge us to keep our money there while they use it. And it's just, when you think about it, it's really crazy.
Right.
And when I was a nurse, I was diligently saving in my 403B, you know, for my future. But yet I was in debt. I was financing my cars, credit card debt, this and that, but, you know, wanted to put that money away for the future.
Right.
And now I can't touch it.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to get penalized if I use my own money. So
yeah,
I just want to help people realize from my mistakes that it doesn't have to be that way. Because now I know that there's a better place to keep my money.
Other than the 403B?
Yes.
Okay. So where's the other avenue of putting your money if not in the 403B?
So now I save my money in a whole life insurance policy that's specially designed for banking purposes. So, because people think of whole life insurance as like such a terrible place to put money. You know, the financial entertainers say, like, that's a terrible investment, and which they're absolutely right, because it's not an investment at all. So it's just the storage tank for your money, just like a 403B, 401k, it's where you store your money. But with the insurance policy, you get to actually leverage that money to use it now. So you're saving for the future and using the money at the same time without interrupting the compounding growth.
So what do you mean that you're saving for the future with putting the money in the? Of course, I understand. I just want to make sure that, you know, that other people understand exactly what you mean by that. Yeah,
just like saving in a 401k or an IRA or 403B, you just save your money in the policy. Okay, and what kind of return can you expect? Because you're not just parking it there, right? You're just it's earning a guaranteed return. It's guaranteed to increase in value every single year. It depends on the company how much that guarantee is, like between 2 to 4%. But it's not about the growth within the policy. It's just about the fact that your money is safe, guaranteed to increase in value every single year, while you're also using it. You're leveraging your cash value to make your investments with, to get out of debt, to do whatever it is you're already doing in life. While that money is still growing. So instead of giving all that money away to the bank, did you know that we spend 34 cents of every single dollar on interest alone on average? Really? Yep. That's terrible. So in other words, you're saying that whenever we spend $1, it's only worth 66 cents. Well, not even that, because we spend another 40 cents on taxes. Okay. Not just income taxes, but there's sales tax and gas tax and this and that. So it doesn't leave us a heck of a lot left over. That is so interesting. Okay. Yeah. So I try to help people keep more of their money and spend more of their money at the same time. That is an interesting concept. Okay. So what is something that you feel that people need to know in order to even start looking in that direction of those types of policies? They need to know that the banks are making all the money. They need to know that the banks are actually the #1 owner of whole life insurance policies. It's the #1 asset of the banks. So if the banks are doing it, it's probably not a bad idea. Yeah. Yeah, they definitely have all the money, that's for sure. So, okay. So being that it's a great avenue to use, not so much for investing, but parking the money, as you said. So if I'm interested in getting a whole life policy, what should I be looking for when I speak to an agent, for example? Like how, because, you know, some agents tend to overestimate things and think that, you know, some products are better than others. So how do you know, like, is this like one of those situations where you should just talk with multiple agents, or what does that look like? Like as far as going, you know, someone doing their own due diligence to make sure that they get the best product that they need. Yeah, I would do your research. I would go to infinitebanking.org and get all kinds of information there. Okay. And then talk to the agent about the guarantees. And how much liquidity there is, because with a typical whole life policy, it takes a really long time to build up any cash value. That's a great point that you brought up. You know, basically 100% of the premium goes towards a death benefit. So with these policies that are specially designed for infinite banking purposes to take control of your money, the death benefit's minimized, so a portion of the premium goes towards cash accumulation. It's called paid up additions. Right. So you have, you know, access to the cash you put in immediately, not all of it, but a portion of it within the first 30 days. Right. Whereas typical whole life, it might take 2 years before you even have, you know, like a few dollars available. Yeah. So you want to make sure that it's designed well for. And I'm actually really glad that you brought that up, because I hear that all the time. Oh, whole life insurance is too expensive. Like that's literally the most common thing you'll hear when people are talking about whole life insurance. And first of all, that's like comparing apples to oranges, right? Because first of all, you know, if you're comparing term life to whole life and then apples to oranges, because apples to oranges, they're both fruit, but they taste very different. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and they have different, I'm sure they probably have different benefits even as well. Same thing with term and whole life. So they're both life insurance products, but they work very differently.
So a lot of times you have people comparing term with traditional whole life, to be specific. You know, I've gotten in that stage of making sure to say traditional whole life rather than just saying whole life, just because there, of course, is a difference depending on how you structure the policy. And not every insurance company, just because they have a whole life policy, means that they can structure an infinite banking type of a policy.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, people say, like, why in the world would I spend all that money for whole life when term is so much cheaper for the same death benefit? But really, it's not cheaper.
Thank you. You know,
the premium is lower.
It's funny because when you really look at the perspective, and I did this whole breakdown for a client once. Okay, let's see if term is really cheaper than whole life. You know, someone who was young in their early 30s, and you know, in 30 years, looking at a 30-year term, you know. Anyway, I could get into a whole conversation, but we broke down the difference between the term and the whole life. And for her, you know, everyone's situation is just different. Let's be real. It is absolutely different. There's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all. And what I tell people is when vetting an agent, ask one question: what is the best life insurance policy out there? If they answer that question, they are biased, and I would run. And the reason being because there's certain companies out there that push one product over another, and they're completely biased. That's not what you need. You need someone who's going to analyze your situation and determine and make a decision on, okay, so this is going to be the best option based on your specific situation. This is the best option for you. If you go and talk to their next door neighbor, you shouldn't be offering the same product unless you've already done the analysis and they're in the same boat. You know? So you and I both know we can talk about this sort of thing all day long, you know, of course.
Yeah.
So now, do you consider yourself an entrepreneur?
I do.
Okay, so tell me a little bit of what that means to you. Like, what does it mean to be an entrepreneur?
It means to be my own boss and be in control of my schedule and work because I want to work, not because I have to work.
Right.
I get to call the shots. Like, I can't. There's no way that I could ever go back to punching a time clock.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, that's how I felt too. After, because there was a period when I first started in the industry where I was working in the life insurance industry and also working because I was an intern at the time. Well, I wasn't an intern by the time I realized that I was going to go that route. But anyway, and then I was also working at UCR, their fleet services department, because that's, you know, where I went to school, University of California, Riverside. And I ended up getting to a point where I was like, well, you know, this is scary to go the entrepreneur route, you know, where I don't have any safety net. Because again, when I was in college, I had that safety net of my other job. Right. But, you know, I also realized I don't want to answer to anyone. Like, I like doing me.
Yeah.
I couldn't go back. You know, once when I stopped working at UCR, I was like, I feel like I can't do that. It's very hard, I feel, to go from being your own boss to going to an employee. You know, that transition. Yeah, that's definitely a difficult one.
Yeah, it's definitely more hours.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you get all this time freedom because I actually work more than I ever did at a job.
Same, yeah.
But I would much rather have it that way.
Yeah. Because you're actually building your own wealth versus helping someone else build theirs, you know? So would you say that's pretty much what motivated you to go on your journey into entrepreneurship?
The thought of being my own boss?
Yes.
I just didn't want to be a nurse anymore.
Oh, okay.
I was just looking for something different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
and
cool.
then just what started it was, you know, taking those supplements that changed my life and getting that taste of residual income. And then I went to this workshop called Networking Riches.
Okay.
And just learned so much from Casey Eberhardt. And yeah, I ended up joining his group. And even though I didn't know, because he like, it's a mastermind group, he helps business owners.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I figured, like, at first, like, I wasn't really a business owner because I didn't really have a direction. Like, I was doing, kind of dabbling in the insurance thing, dabbling in network marketing. Like, I didn't know which direction I wanted to go. But I'm like, I know if I, you know, join this group that whatever he teaches me is going to be helpful, whatever I end up doing. And
that's
definitely
awesome.
was. So I finally found my niche when I learned about infinite banking. It's like there was no more squirrel. You know? It's like I am so passionate about helping people take control of their money and realize that we don't need to be at the mercy of the banks and the government.
Now, with your journey as an entrepreneur, what has been your greatest struggles and failures?
Struggles is Facebook marketing. Like when I,
Girl.
when I,
Yes.
when I
Well,
was,
all things social media marketing for me.
like when I started promoting the nutritional product, I was doing what the company told me to do, you know, make sure you post 3 times a day and just keep on bothering people. Don't worry about it, you know. Don't worry if you lose friends and they weren't meant to be your friends anyways. And like, so I mean, so I posted, when I wasn't going that far, but I was posting too often and driving people crazy. So now I like have such an aversion. Like I really want to get my message out there. Like people need to know this, but I'm like so afraid from my previous experience. I don't want to bother people, you know, but then I always struggle with myself. I have this internal fight, like, but who are you not to share this message? Like, you know?
I mean, it can help benefit so many people, you know, so yeah, I totally see that.
Yeah.
So what about your greatest fears, though?
My greatest fears?
Yeah.
Is never getting my kids to understand. Because I've done so many different things, dabbled in different businesses, they think it's just another one of those new things, you know, but so they don't listen to me. So
how old are your kids?
They're 23 and, no, 24 now and 28.
Okay, cool. Well, shoot, that's perfect timing for them too. So, you know, hopefully, you know, they'll get on board eventually. They're going to hear from someone anyway, but hopefully they'll listen to you.
Hopefully, yes.
Now, do you have any perspective on what failure is? So for example, me, I've learned to embrace failure. So whenever trying anything, you know, I'm open to trying anything that's legal, and even if it makes me uncomfortable, I'm going to do it. As long as it's legal and it fits within my moral guidelines, I'm willing to try it. And the reason why is because with failure, you know, I've learned that, you know, being uncomfortable is part of the process. You know, whenever you're doing something new, yeah, it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable, but do it anyway. Who cares? Right. You know, like, and so I've gotten to this point where, dude, I'm all on board. Tell me, you tell me that I should go do this. Sure, let's do it. You know what I mean? And I'm going to fail my way to success, you know, because like, you know, I can't expect to, you know, Les Brown, I don't know if you know who Les Brown is. He's a motivational speaker. Okay, great. So he says this thing, you don't have to be great to get, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. And I listen to that and it's like, that's fantastic. That's actually really true. Like, because just do it. You know, you're going to learn as you go, and as you do things, it's just like practicing anything, like a sport, for example. The more you practice, the better you get.
That's right.
You know, so I'm willing to go in stumbling and then getting to a point where I just learn from every experience and getting to a point where, man, this is natural. This is second nature, you know, stuff like that. So what is your perspective as it pertains to failure?
I don't believe there's any failure.
Okay.
I mean, something may not work out, but that doesn't really mean you failed.
I totally
it just means that you learn something and you move forward and, you know, make things even better. So
yeah, you know what? I love that. 409, do you know what 409 is? It's a cleaning solution.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about something else, like waiting about cleaning.
So I had learned literally like a month ago that 409 has their name because it took them, they failed 408 times.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
It was the 409th time that they actually got it right, which is why they named their brand 409. And you know, it's so I really understand 100% your perspective on failure like that. And I think that's a fantastic way of even thinking about it too, because even with just like Edison, was it the
10,000 times or whatever? Yeah.
I would have quit a long time ago. That should, you know, I'm just being real. But think about how differently life would be. Maybe someone else would have came up with it if he didn't. I don't know. But can you imagine us not having light? I can't. Like, that's insane.
Yeah. Thank goodness he didn't give up.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said too. Like when I first learned about that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Like, he was so dedicated to a fault that he kept going until he got it right. That's the kind of dedication we all need, really. That's true dedication. So now, what are your goals right now? The goals in what you're focusing on?
I'm just focusing on getting this message out there, get people to get away from the banking system, get people to realize that every time they take a loan from a bank, they're just contributing to the inflation problem. You know, every time they depend on the government, they're just contributing to the problem. So I just my goal is to get as many people as I can to take control of their money and change the world for the future.
Okay, cool. Now, so you mentioned that when people are taking loans from their banks, they're basically just, helping them get wealthier. So if someone does need a loan, where should they go? Is there somewhere else that they should be going to get that loan?
Well, it depends on what they need the loan for. If you're talking about real estate, they should be going to these real estate clubs.
I know, it's absolutely
and working
fantastic.
together with the other members. But if you have no money at all, and sometimes you have to go to the bank to get a loan, but start by paying yourself first so you can build up like that private reserve, so then you can leverage that for your investments.
Right.
For your car payments or whatever else.
Okay, now as an entrepreneur, what kind of mindset do you feel like entrepreneurs have to have in order to be successful?
What kind of mindset? Well, the mindset of just being open-minded to learning. Because if you're closed-minded and you just think you already know it all, it's going to be pretty difficult to get ahead, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't know what we don't know, and no matter how much we know, we will never know what we don't know.
Yeah.
So keep an open mind. Don't worry about people saying no to you.
Yeah.
And just keep positive.
Yeah.
Don't be saying like, why is this happening to me?
Mm-hmm.
Think of it more like, this is happening for me.
Yeah.
To make me better.
Right.
And be grateful for that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because even Warren Buffett says he's still learning, which says a lot, because it's like, you're still learning. Like, he's so successful. Like, how are you still learning? But, it's just the perspective that he has, because he recognizes that you're not going to know everything. So he's still, I think I read or heard that he still reads a lot of books. I forgot how many books he reads, but he reads a ton of books, which is really impressive.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like, I mean, I read, I have like a morning routine or ritual, whatever you want to call it, that I focus to. And part of that is taking some time to read. But I think he goes through a lot of books. Let's put it that way. And I definitely don't come close to that, to the amount of books that he goes through.
I made a goal at the beginning of the year to read 1 book a week.
Oh, really? Okay.
I haven't quite been maintaining that goal yet, but it's okay.
It's okay. We all sometimes, you'll get there for sure.
But I'm reading a really good book right now.
What are you reading now?
The Alchemist.
Oh, The Alchemist. Yes, I've read that. Okay, that is a great book.
Yeah.
The book that I was going to read again was The Richest Man in Babylon. I've read it a couple times already. It's a fantastic book. But people have mentioned it more recently. Like a couple people, like twice in 1 week, I heard someone mention it. I'm like, maybe this is telling me like I should read it again.
The universe is giving you signs.
But I have a laundry list of books that I need to get through too. But at least that one I already understand. I already know the book. So maybe there's something I need to reread to just check again to see if I missed something. Because there's no such thing as reading a book. I don't think there's any such thing as reading a book too many times. Because anytime I read a book more than once, I get something new out of it the second time, third time, whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Because you like reading it with new eyes.
Oh, really? Yeah. Now, what would you give? Okay, so we're actually closing up here. So what's the last advice that you would give to someone who wants to go on their entrepreneur journey?
Be in 2 businesses. Do you want
multiple streams of income? That's the whole concept.
Well, multiple streams of income for sure. But my point is that you want to choose a business that you're passionate about, and then also be in the banking business.
Okay.
That will fund the business that you're passionate about.
That's awesome. Now, Kathy, where can people find you? If they want more information on infinite banking, that way you can help them, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can actually find me on the infinitebanking.org website.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
And you can also find my digital business card. It's kathyscalzo.com.
kathyscalzo.com. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much, Kathy, for being here today. Guys, this is the end of today's session. So thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys next time.
This is Steve Matley. Join me every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio Talk Show. I spent decades as a professional construction manager, business owner, real estate developer, and a college educator, and I enjoy learning new things from other people. We talk a lot about real estate, business, and finance, but we cover a diverse range of other topics as well. Some of the topics we've discussed in the past few months include real estate investing, leadership, higher education, ADUs, marketing using technology, multifamily rental properties, business strategy, entrepreneurship. You never know who may show up or what they may talk about. So join us right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio.
Check us out on Instagram where you can watch videos, see pictures, and listen to audio of all your favorite